Three homeless girls sat silently at a grave, clutching each other for warmth. When Daniel Grant, a billionaire, approached, their words stopped him cold. Words that would change everything he thought he knew about his wife, his life, and himself. Daniel had come to visit his late wife, Clara, as he did every month. The mansion, the boardrooms, the headlines, none of it mattered here. All that remained was her name etched in marble, a reminder of the love he lost and the life he had failed to notice. He knelt to place fresh lilies, his hand trembling as memories of Clara's laughter and kindness filled the air. As he turned to leave, his eyes caught three tiny figures huddled near the edge of the cemetery. They looked no older than 8 or 9, their clothes tattered and faces pale, yet their eyes were sharp, alert, almost knowing. Daniel frowned, confusion and curiosity mixing in his chest. "Are you lost?" he asked, his voice gentle. The eldest girl's big brown eyes met his. "No, sir, we're waiting," she said. "Waiting?" Daniel echoed, kneeling closer. "Waiting for who?" "For her," the girl whispered, pointing toward Clara's grave. Daniel's heart skipped a beat. "You mean my wife?" All three girls nodded. The middle one spoke softly, her voice shaking. "She told us to come here if we were ever scared or alone." Daniel's mind reeled. He had heard of Clara's charitable work, her secret visits to shelters, but he had never known about these children, these girls she had cared for as if they were her own. His throat tightened. "Did she talk to you about me?" he asked. "She said you were good, just busy," the eldest replied. "She told us not to be afraid, that you would do what's right." Daniel swallowed hard. He felt the weight of his years of absence, of missed moments and unspoken love. He knelt to meet their tiny eyes. "Do you have anywhere else to go?" "Family. Parents." The youngest shook her head. "We had her. She said if anything happened to her, we should come here." Daniel turned to the grave, staring at Clara's name carved in stone. "If anything happens, come here." Her words echoed like a promise he had never known. He realized then that his wife had left him one final mission, to protect these girls, to continue the love she could no longer give. He extended his hand. "Come with me," he said softly. The youngest hesitated. We don't know you." Daniel's voice softened. "I'm Daniel Grant. Clara trusted me, and I promise you'll be safe with me." The eldest finally nodded. "Okay," she whispered. He led them to his car, a sleek black Rolls-Royce waiting at the gate. The girls clutched each other as they climbed in, eyes wide as they saw the luxury surrounding them. But Daniel felt no pride, only shame that wealth had filled his life while love and care had gone unnoticed. Inside the mansion, the girls, all was palpable. Everything gleamed, from the marble floors to the golden chandeliers. Yet Daniel felt the emptiness of the place. Maria, the housekeeper, stepped forward. "Sir, who are these children?" "They're guests," Daniel said, his voice firm but gentle. "Warm food, clothes, care, everything they need." The girls sat quietly at the dining table, their tiny hands gripping the edge as though afraid it might vanish. The eldest whispered, "Clara said rich people don't like kids like us." Daniel shook his head. Clara was wrong about that. Wealth doesn't measure kindness. You're safe here, and I'll make sure of it. After dinner, the girls curled up together on the couch, finally letting their guard down. Daniel walked into Clara's study, untouched since her death. His eyes fell on a small wooden box labeled, "For Daniel." Inside was a folded letter in Clara's delicate handwriting. "If you're reading this, it means you found them. Their names are Hope, Grace, and Faith. I promised to protect them, but now it's your turn. Love them as I would have." Daniel's hands shook. For the first time in years, he felt a purpose beyond wealth and power. He looked toward the three girls sleeping peacefully in the living room and understood the mission his wife had entrusted to him. Clara had left him a chance to save what truly mattered, and he vowed silently to never let her memory, or these girls, down. The next morning, Daniel woke before anyone else in the house. The sun poured through the enormous windows, highlighting the quiet corners where the girls had explored the night before. He found them in the kitchen, still huddled together, shyly nibbling on toast. Hope, Grace, and Faith, the names Clara had written in that letter, looked at him with a mix of curiosity and caution. Daniel poured himself a cup of coffee and sat across from them. "Do you want to tell me a little about yourselves?" he asked gently. The eldest, Hope, swallowed and began. "We grew up in the shelter. There was never enough food. never a real home. But Clara, she gave us things we didn't even know we needed. She believed in us, even when no one else did. Grace added softly, she said we were her special girls, that we could do anything, as long as we stayed together. Faith, the youngest, hugged herself tightly and whispered. She said if she ever couldn't keep us safe, we should find her husband. She said he would understand. Daniel's eyes burned. Every word they spoke brought back memories of Clara, her laughter, her quiet acts of kindness, the way she had always seen the good in others. He had never imagined his wife's secret life could be so vast, so selfless, and yet so hidden from him. He reached across the table. You're safe now, I promise, and I want to help you in every way I can. Hope's eyes glistened. You mean you'll really help us? Daniel nodded firmly. Yes, you have a home here now, clothes, food, and everything else you need to grow up happy and strong. You're not alone anymore. Over the next few days, Daniel found himself adjusting to a life he hadn't expected. Meetings, contracts, and stock reports were still part of his world, but for the first time, he found joy in something else. Teaching the girls, listening to their stories, and watching them laugh in ways he had never imagined. He walked with them in the mansion's gardens, showed them his library filled with books Clara had once adored, and even taught them how to ride bicycles on the driveway. Each moment reminded him of how much he had missed, how much Clara had done quietly, and how much love could still grow even after tragedy. One afternoon, while helping Faith tie her shoelaces, Hope looked up at him. Do you miss her like we do? She asked softly. Daniel felt a lump in his throat. Every day, he admitted. But I also see her in you three. She left a piece of herself with each of you, and it's my job to make sure that peace grows. Grace tilted her head, curious. Did she ever talk about us to you? Daniel shook his head. No, I knew she was helping children, but I had no idea it was you. She kept this a secret from me because maybe she wanted to protect you from the world until I was ready to care. The girls stayed silent, processing the revelation. It was clear Clara's plan had always been bigger than any of them realized. She had not only loved them, but had trusted Daniel to continue her mission, even after she was gone. That evening, Daniel sat in his study once more, reading through Clara's journals. Each page revealed her thoughts, her worries, and her plans for the girls. She had been meticulous, documenting every birthday, every favorite food, every dream the girls had expressed. She had even written letters to Daniel, explaining her hopes that he would find them and take care of them. Daniel realized then that love could take many forms. It wasn't always grand gestures or public displays. Sometimes it was quiet, behind-the-scenes protection. Sometimes it was trusting someone else to carry on your legacy. Clara had done all of that, and now it was his turn. The following days became a rhythm of learning, caring, and growing together. Daniel found himself laughing at their jokes, worrying when they scraped their knees, and marveling at their resilience. Despite the hardships they had faced, the girls were kind, intelligent, and filled with hope, a living reminder of Clara's heart. One morning, Hope looked up at him with determination in her eyes. Do you think we could do something for other kids like us? Like Clara did. Daniel felt a swell of pride. Yes, he said without hesitation. We will. We'll start a foundation, help children who have no one, just like Clara wanted. And we'll do it together. Grace and Faith cheered softly, their faces lighting up with excitement. Daniel realized that for the first time in years, he had found purpose beyond his wealth, a mission that mattered in the truest sense. He wasn't just a billionaire now. He was a protector, a guardian, and a father figure to these three girls who had once seemed lost in the world. That night, Daniel looked at the girls as they slept peacefully. Hope's head rested on Grace's shoulder, and Faith clutched a small blanket Clara had left behind. Daniel knew that life would never be the same. He would never forget his wife, but now he had a reason to live fully, to honor her memory, protect the girls, and continue the love she had poured into the world. And for the first time in a long time, Daniel felt a sense of peace. Clara's mission had not ended with her death. It had only just begun, and together, they would make sure it changed the lives of many more children who needed love, guidance, and hope. Days passed, and Daniel found himself completely immersed in the lives of Hope, Grace, and Faith. The girls were no longer just strangers or memories of his wife. They were now his responsibility, and in some ways, his salvation. Every laugh they shared, every question they asked, reminded him of Clara's presence. She had left more than memories. She had left a mission that he could now live through. One afternoon, Daniel noticed Hope staring at a large photo on the wall, a family picture of Clara with her parents. "Who are they?" she asked softly. "Those are her parents," Daniel explained. "They loved her very much." Hope looked thoughtful. "Did she ever talk about them?" Daniel shook his head. "Not really. She mostly talked about helping others. She believed love wasn't just for family. It was for anyone in need." Grace tilted her head, curiosity bright in her eyes. "So, when she helped us, she wasn't just being nice? She really cared." Daniel smiled, though his chest ached. "She cared more than anyone could imagine. And now, it's our turn to make sure that care continues." The girls' faces lit up. "Can we really do that?" Faith asked, her tiny hands fidgeting nervously. Daniel nodded. "Yes, we'll start small, but we'll make a difference." Clara left us everything we need: the heart, the mission, and the will to do it. That evening, Daniel decided to show the girls something Clara had left for them: a small, private room in the mansion filled with books, toys, and letters addressed to each of them. The girls' eyes widened in astonishment as they stepped inside. "This is for us," Hope whispered. "For you," Daniel said softly. "Clara wanted you to have a place where you could always feel safe, loved, and inspired. She believed in you even when no one else did." The girls explored the room in awe, finding little notes tucked inside books, drawings of imaginary adventures, and letters that spoke directly to their hearts. Each message was a piece of Clara's soul, a bridge between her and the girls that death could never destroy. As they settled down with a stack of letters, Daniel watched them silently, overwhelmed by a wave of emotions. Clara had trusted him with her most precious secret, her girls, and he realized the magnitude of that responsibility. The next day, Daniel decided to take the girls to visit the shelter where Clara had spent so many hours. As they walked in, memories of Clara seemed to hang in the air, almost tangible. Former staff members greeted Daniel warmly, surprised but pleased to see him there. "Daniel, it's been a long time," one of the staff members said. "We didn't know you knew about the girls." "I just met them," Daniel admitted. "Clara, she trusted me to find them. And now I will do everything I can to help." The girls' eyes shone as they met familiar faces who remembered Clara and her dedication. They shared stories of how she had comforted them, brought them gifts, and inspired them to believe in themselves. Daniel listened quietly, absorbing the enormity of her kindness and the legacy she had left behind. On the drive back, Hope leaned her head against the window, her voice soft. "I wish we could have thanked her before she left." Daniel reached over and held her hand. "We can honor her now, by living her mission, by helping others, and by loving each other. That's what she would have wanted." That night, as the girls slept, Daniel reflected on how drastically his life had changed. He had once measured success by wealth and power, but now he understood that real success was measured in love, compassion, and the lives you touched. Clara had opened his eyes to a world he had never noticed, and in doing so, she had given him a chance to become a better man. But even as he felt hope, a sense of urgency gnawed at him. Clara had left hints, letters, stories, and photographs that suggested there was more to discover about her work with the girls. Secrets she had kept, not out of deception, but out of protection. Daniel knew he had to uncover them, not just to honor her, but to ensure the girls' future was secure. A week later, while organizing Clara's old files, Daniel found a folder labeled for Hope, Grace, Faith. Inside were documents detailing scholarships, medical appointments, and plans for the girls' future, all meticulously arranged by Clara, as if she had anticipated every possible challenge. At the bottom of the folder, a note in her handwriting read, "Daniel, if you are reading this, trust your heart. Protect them, guide them, and love them as I did." Daniel felt tears sting his eyes. The magnitude of Clara's foresight, her planning, and her unwavering love was overwhelming. She had trusted him with everything, and now he understood that he couldn't fail. Over the following weeks, Daniel, Hope, Grace, and Faith began laying the foundation for Clara's vision. They started small, helping children in nearby shelters, distributing books and food, and organizing lessons to inspire hope and confidence. The girls thrived in this new life, discovering purpose, joy, and a sense of belonging that they had never known. One evening, as they returned from the shelter, Hope looked at Daniel with determination. "We can do more, can't we? We can help even more kids, like she did." Daniel smiled, a warmth spreading through him that he hadn't felt in years. "Yes, and together, we will. Clara's mission doesn't end with us. It grows with every child we help." That night, as he watched the girls sleep, Daniel realized the truth he had been missing for years. Love, kindness, and purpose were the greatest legacies anyone could leave behind, and Clara had shown him exactly how to do it. He vowed silently to honor her memory, protect these girls, and carry forward a mission that would touch countless lives. And in that quiet moment, Daniel knew that the journey he had begun with these three little girls was only the beginning. A journey of love, redemption, and the kind of family that money could never buy. Weeks turned into months, and Daniel's life had completely transformed. The mansion that had once been a symbol of luxury now felt alive with laughter, chatter, and the small chaos that only children can bring. Hope, Grace, and Faith were no longer timid, lonely girls. They were confident, joyful, and fiercely protective of each other. Daniel found himself waking every day with a sense of purpose he had never known, a life defined not by wealth, but by love. One afternoon, Daniel called the girls to his study. He held a stack of old letters and photographs Clara had left behind, her handwriting precise, elegant, and full of care. "These," he said softly, "are more messages from Clara. She wanted you to know who you are and the incredible things you can do in life." Hope took the first letter, her fingers trembling slightly. "She wrote this for me?" she whispered. "Yes," Daniel said. "Every word she wrote was for you, Grace, and Faith. She believed in you even when the world didn't." As the girls read, tears welled up in their eyes. Clara's words were not just instructions or reminders. They were affirmations of love, courage, and hope. Each letter revealed how much Clara had cared for them, how she had planned every step of their journey, and how she had trusted Daniel to continue her mission. Faith looked up at Daniel, her voice small but determined. "She trusted you with us, and now we trust you too." Daniel felt a lump in his throat. "Thank you," he said quietly. "I promise to never let her down, or you." But the letters also contained something unexpected, a note about a family who had once tried to claim guardianship of the girls. Clara had fought to keep them safe, navigating courts, shelters, and bureaucracies to make sure no one could take them away from the love and stability she had provided. Daniel realized that protecting the girls would not only be about giving them comfort and joy, but also defending them from a world that might not understand their worth. A week later, Daniel received a call from a lawyer representing a distant relative who claimed the girls were their heirs. Daniel's jaw tightened. Clara had foreseen this possibility, but now it was up to him to fight for the girls' safety. He gathered hope, grace, and faith in the living room. "This may be difficult," he began gently. "Some people think they have a right to make decisions for you, but I will make sure you are safe. I won't let anyone take you from the home and the life Clara built for you." The girls clung to each other. Grace whispered, "Do you really think they could take us?" Daniel knelt, looking them in the eyes. "Not if I can help it. We'll fight this together. And no matter what happens, we have each other." The weeks that followed were tense. Legal documents, court appearances, and countless phone calls consumed Daniel, but he never lost sight of the girls' well-being. He ensured they continued their schooling, activities, and even small outings, reminding them that life could still be beautiful even when challenges arose. One evening, after a particularly stressful day, Daniel found the girls in the library. They were reading the letters Clara had left, giggling at small drawings and stories she had tucked inside the envelopes. "She really loved us," Hope said, eyes shining. "Yes," Daniel said softly. "And now she's counting on us to carry that love forward." The next morning, a breakthrough came. The legal threats were dismissed. Clara's meticulous planning and Daniel's unwavering commitment ensured that the girls remained safe in his care. Relief washed over him, but it was tempered with a deeper realization. Life would continue to throw challenges, and the only way to honor Clara was to rise to each one with courage and love. With the immediate threat gone, Daniel focused on building a life that reflected Clara's values. He involved the girls in charitable work, teaching them how to help children in shelters, donate supplies, and spread hope to those who felt forgotten. Hope, grace, and faith flourished under his guidance, each discovering talents and passions Clara had always encouraged. One afternoon, as they were sorting books to donate, Faith looked up at Daniel. "Do you think Clara would be proud of us?" Daniel smiled, feeling a warmth that had been absent for years. "She's already proud," he said. "And every day, we'll make her prouder by helping others, loving each other, and never forgetting what she taught us." As the girls went off to bed that night, Daniel sat alone in Clara's study, reflecting on the journey so far. He realized that the mansion, the wealth, and the power he had once thought defined him were meaningless without love and purpose. Clara had shown him that true legacy isn't measured in dollars, but in the lives you touch and the hearts you heal. In the quiet of the night, he made a silent promise to always protect hope, grace, and faith, to continue Clara's mission, and to live a life that would honor her memory. He understood now that the journey wasn't just about raising the girls. It was about becoming the kind of man Clara had believed he could be, and the kind of man the girls deserved. The bond between Daniel and the girls grew stronger with each passing day. They laughed together, cried together, and discovered a family built not just by blood, but by love, trust, and shared purpose. And though Clara was gone, her presence was everywhere, in their hearts, in the letters she left behind, and in the mission she entrusted to Daniel. That night, as he looked at the three girls sleeping peacefully, Daniel knew with certainty that life had given him a second chance, a chance to do what truly mattered, guided by love, inspired by Clara, and strengthened by the unbreakable bond they now shared. Months had passed since Daniel had first met hope, grace, and faith at Clara's grave. The girls were thriving, their laughter filling the mansion, and Daniel had begun to feel a peace he hadn't known since Clara's passing. But deep down, he knew that the story wasn't over. Clara had left one final secret, something she had hidden until the right moment. One afternoon, while going through more of Clara's old files, Daniel stumbled upon a small, locked box tucked behind her desk. It had no label, only her initials engraved in gold. Curiosity surged through him as he carefully opened it. Inside were 3 identical bracelets, each engraved with a name: Hope, Grace, Faith. Alongside them was a letter addressed to Daniel. His hands trembled as he unfolded it. Clara's handwriting was familiar and beautiful, yet it carried the weight of everything she had experienced in her life. "Daniel, if you are reading this, it means you have done what I hoped you would. You have protected them, loved them, and guided them. But there is one final task, a gift for them and for you. These bracelets are not just jewelry. They carry a message of hope, courage, and resilience. Each time they wear them, they must remember they are capable of anything. And you must never forget that love is stronger than grief, stronger than fear, and stronger than any obstacle life places in your path." Daniel looked at the bracelets, then at the girls who were waiting in the other room, unaware of the treasure about to change their lives. He called them in, his voice steady but full of emotion. "These," he said, holding up the bracelets, "are from Clara. She left them for you. She wanted you to have something that reminds you of how strong you are and how much she loved you." The girls gasped, their eyes wide. Hope reached for hers first, sliding the delicate bracelet onto her wrist. Grace followed, tears spilling down her cheeks as she fastened hers. Faith's hands shook, but she carefully placed hers, clutching Daniel's hand for reassurance. "Clara, she really thought of everything, didn't she?" Hope whispered. Daniel knelt beside them. "Yes, and now it's our turn to continue what she started. To help others, to love, and to never give up. That's how we honor her memory." Over the next few weeks, the family, Daniel and the 3 girls, poured their hearts into Clara's mission. They expanded her foundation, helping countless children in shelters, providing education, food, and a safe place to grow. The girls discovered their own talents. Hope loved organizing events. Grace had a knack for inspiring younger children, and Faith had a special way of comforting those who were afraid. Together, they were unstoppable, a living testament to Clara's legacy. One evening, Daniel found himself sitting on the mansion's balcony, looking out at the city lights. The girls were inside, laughing and planning a small charity drive. He couldn't help but smile. Clara had given him everything: the girls, a purpose, and the chance to become a better man. A soft voice interrupted his thoughts. "Daniel." It was Hope, holding a small photo album. "What is it, Hope?" he asked. "We found more pictures of Clara," she said, "from before we even met her. She always believed in helping people, even strangers. Look at this one. She's holding a little boy at the shelter. And this one, she's reading to a group of children." Daniel flipped through the album, his heart swelling with pride and sorrow. Clara had spent her life quietly changing the world, and now, through him and the girls, her work would continue. "Clara trusted me with everything," Daniel said softly. "And now, I trust all of you to keep her spirit alive." The girls smiled, their faces glowing with determination. "We will," Grace said firmly. "We won't let her down." And Daniel knew they never would. The months turned into years. Hope, Grace, and Faith grew into confident, compassionate young women, each carrying the lessons Clara had taught them and the love Daniel had poured into their lives. The foundation flourished, helping thousands of children find safety, education, and hope. Daniel often reflected on that first day, the moment he had found the girls sitting at his wife's grave. At the time, he had no idea how profoundly their lives would intertwine with his own. They had healed his heart, reminded him of what truly mattered, and given him a second chance at love and family. One quiet evening, Daniel returned to Clara's grave, the three girls by his side. They placed fresh flowers together, and for a moment, the world felt still. "Thank you for trusting us," Daniel whispered to the grave. "We will honor you every day, and we'll make sure the world remembers your heart." Hope leaned against his shoulder, Grace held his hand, and Faith touched the stone gently. They didn't need words. Their presence, love, and laughter were the proof of Clara's enduring legacy. As they walked back to the car, Daniel realized something profound. Life is unpredictable. Pain and loss are inevitable. But so is love. And sometimes, love shows up in the most unexpected ways, through small, brave souls who remind you what truly matters. Clara's life, her secret devotion, and the three girls she had saved had transformed Daniel completely. He was no longer a billionaire defined by wealth. He was a father, a guardian, and a man who understood the power of love and purpose. And as the sun set over the city, Daniel knew with certainty that Clara's spirit would always be with them. In the laughter of hope, grace, and faith, in every child they helped, and in every act of kindness that came from a heart willing to believe in hope, even in the darkest of times. The billionaire had found his family, and in doing so, discovered that the greatest fortune in the world was not money. It was love, trust, and the lives you touch. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story that inspires and moves you. Share it with someone who believes in hope, because sometimes the smallest acts of kindness can change a life forever.